Hi everyone. If you're expecting this episode to be the second part of our Marvel movie directors conversation, don't worry, that's coming, but it's not this week. That's going to be next week.
Next week.
Stay tuned. I know we said it'd be this week. Sorry if we changed our minds. This week, we're talking about something else. But first of all, James, I have a question.
Yes.
Last week when we did the Thor review,
Yeah.
I forgot to mention that when I went to see it at a cinema, it did that thing which I've had a couple of times at the cinema, where the volume was just a little bit too quiet.
Same.
Yes,
Same.
This keeps happening at cinemas.
Am I going deaf?
No. It's definitely not. It's like they took a poll and they were like, oh, some people find it's better to be too quiet than too loud. Too loud like drives people crazy, sends them out the cinema. Too quiet, that's subjective. And it was a real issue because watching the film, it made the whole thing seem really timid and tepid and tame.
Yeah.
Right? When like
Thor Love and Thunder should punch you in the face.
exactly.
Yeah.
When it comes in with the Guns N' Roses, it should be like, but it was like this.
In a cinema, which is a room with a whole wall as a screen.
Yes.
It should be loud.
It's industrially built to be like this.
Yes. It should scream in my face. Do you want to hear about?
I felt like I needed to reach for the remote and turn it up.
You know what happened to me? A severe violation of the cinema code, in my experience, was about 20 minutes into the start of the film. Some guy walked into the cinema. Okay, so I was about 5 rows up of a 15-row cinema thing. Okay, so I'm like 5 rows, and I'm like near the right, but I'm the first person you'll see if you walk down my row. So he comes in 25 minutes late, walks up to my row, comes and sits next to me, and English was not his first language, but he said, "Hi, is this Thor Love and Thunder?" And I'm just there like, "What?" He's like, "Is this Thor Love and Thunder?" I'm like, "Yeah, shh." And he's like, "Okay." Sits next to me and starts watching the film, and then he goes, "What's happened so far?" And I'm like, "Dude, seriously?"
Yeah.
I said like, "Dude, seriously?" And I just went,
Yeah.
"Shh, what the hell?"
No way.
I get really when someone walks in after the film started, all I can think about is they've missed that scene.
Yeah. No, they
won't
didn't
get
understand
that.
that. Yeah.
And it bothers me the entire time that they've not known. But almost 25 minutes was so long. I don't know if they snuck in or they went to another screening and went to this. What? But to go up to someone and go, "What film is this?" When literally Thor was on the screen at the time. And then you go, I was like, "Dude, seriously?"
Is this Downton Abbey?
Yeah. And then to be like, "What's happened so far?" As if I was going to go, "Well, what's happened so far?"
Pause the film, guys. Pause the film for
you
this
won't
man.
believe what
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe.
I had a serious code violation that I was just like, I fucking hate going to the cinema sometimes, which is, I was watching it and it's about 5 minutes in and I'm actually right by, first of all, when I get in my seat, by the way, before the film, I sit there for 5 minutes and I'm like, this seat is damp. This seat is soggy. I can feel it. And I like get up and I'm like,
it starts to soak through the
and
trousers.
I'm like, look, it was a hot day. I'm like, is it just, no. Someone had clearly spilt their drink on it maybe hours before. And it was like a soda-filled cushion. So I hop along one and I'm right by the wall, which is the tunnel where you come in, right?
Right.
Not my choice. I always try and go on the opposite side of where the tunnel is because I don't want to keep seeing people come in and out, right? So when I got in there, I was like, oh, I misread the seat map and I'm right by there. Anyway, I'm 5 minutes in and literally, I'm just going to get this. You see my... Yeah.
Oh,
my
yeah,
phone.
this phone torch.
No. This phone torch appears right by, comes up above the wall and just goes, "Cheese! Say cheese!" And just like goes, "Chick. And then just like, and it's just, obviously at that point, the cinema is so dark, the flashlight just goes everywhere. And I'm like, what? And then they just go and you hear, and it was a woman as well, a group of girls. And
why is that funny? What kind of picture are you going to get?
Everyone just went, huh? And they just carried on watching the film. And I was like, that really brought me out of it. I just times like that,
you're paying.
You wouldn't get this at home. Wouldn't got this if I stayed at home.
No, I pay for the quiet black box. Well, not quiet, but like meant to be silent black box. It just when it isn't that, and you've had to leave your house to go be distracted, it's not good.
So I paid for sound that wasn't loud enough.
Yeah,
people that were too loud and disruptive, and the same with you. It's not a good advert.
You know, I mentioned in our review that there were a lot of teenagers like 15, 16, 17 who were all loving it. But there was this one guy who sat next to me who really wanted his friends to know that he was finding it so funny. And every time...
A teenager guy.
And every time he'd be like hitting his face, be like, oh my God. And then he kept doing this thing where he went, and kept clapping. And every time he laughed, he went, and I just was like, if he claps again, and then it like ruins it because, and he was laughing at the wrong point and it wasn't meant to be funny. And you can just tell someone's trying to tell you they think it's funny.
It's such a shame because
it's a funny film.
I want to go to the cinema.
I know.
I want to enjoy it, but you just.
I also don't want to pay £30 to see it in IMAX if I don't have to get a screen that's loud enough. That's almost like.
Is that how much you have to do?
That's on the verge of like my eardrums bleeding sometimes.
But even like if you go to the Prince Charles, where film fans are like loyal film fans, you still get people chatting and talking.
Oh
I saw a film with the Prince Charles once. A guy walked out, came back with a full Indian curry, like full curry takeaway, like
unacceptable.
What?
No. Okay, George, should we go through some of the correspondence we have this week? Thank you again for writing into the show. If you want to send us an email, please do by writing into hello@popkitchenpodcast.com. This first one is from Bevan. Hi guys, I'm really obsessed with your podcast. I found you on TikTok and I've listened to every episode you have. I recommend your pod to all my fellow film fanatics.
Hey,
Bevan, thank you. You're doing God's work. I wanted to ask, as a person from Ireland, I was wondering if you had any thoughts about Irish cinema, the rise and the like in the early 90s and where it went thereafter. I find it particularly interesting, so I'd love to hear your thoughts. Looking forward to your next episode. All the best, Bevan. And Bevan, thank you for telling us how to pronounce your name because I would have definitely butchered it. Thank you.
Interesting question. Well, look, I'm not going to pretend, and I don't think you're going to pretend either, that we're scholars of Irish cinema, or that we're overly familiar, unless you are overly familiar with Irish cinema.
Secretly.
Which is always a shame. There's always areas of cinema that I want to explore.
Yeah.
But talking about it, though, I did catch a whiff of this beforehand, and I think we talked about Lenny Abramson, Irish director, and what Richard did. Great Irish film, and then obviously that moved into Normal People, which I think now, if you talk to people about, what's a Irish-made thing and Irish set that has really poked through to the mainstream, that would be Normal People, and you and I both like that. But thinking outside that, I did see a really good Irish film called Calm with Horses a couple of years ago, right?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's got I think it's Cosmo Jarvis and Barry Keoghan in it, right?
Yes.
And it's this it's kind of this crime film set in Ireland where Cosmo Jarvis is this kind of big, kind of brutish, almost like Brando-esque kind of figure, and the film opens and they're about to basically rough someone up because something bad has happened with this crime family where someone behaved inappropriately, and they then go have to basically rough him up. But he's conflicted. He's got a young daughter. He doesn't really want this life. I think there's something in it about him being. He was either like a prize horse rider or a fighter or something, and he just doesn't belong in this world. But classic, genre territory. Barry Keoghan is part of the family. He's a bit of a weak underling, but he wants to fit in as well. It was a really solid film. I think like 90 minutes as well that I watched.
Bevan, please write back with some recommendations because I would love to have I know it's kind of hard to do, but if you could do like 3 to 5 really good Irish films to get us started, maybe I've heard of them, maybe I haven't. And then I'm going on holiday soon, and I'm just looking forward to like writing a list of films in my backlog that I need to go and see, and just want to blitz them. Not that that's the best way to watch films, but I'd love if you had some recommendations for Irish cinema. Please feel free.
Always looking to explore and expand horizons. So
thank you so much for that email. This next one's from Tom. Hi guys, love the podcast and wanted to share a film I finally got round to watching that really took me by surprise and wanted to share with you. Okay. Written by, directed by, and starring Tom Hanks. That Thing You Do is a story of a band's rise to fame in the early 1960s with some fantastic comedic performances and heart, plus a ridiculously catchy original soundtrack. As George mentioned, he's a massive Beatles fan. I thought he'd also get a kick out of the setting/premise. We'd love to get your thoughts. All the best, Tom.
When you do that thing you do. You seen it?
And it's got that younger, not like Tom Hanks lookalike, but not Tom Hanks. I can't remember his name.
I've only seen it once.
Years
ago. I saw it in a hostel in Australia, Sydney. And I kind of walked in. I think I might have missed the first 5 minutes. I remember, we finished watching something. I think we'd finished watching a film called Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which was actually quite good. Okay. It was quite funny. And this just came on afterwards. Like, nobody moved from the sofa. And I remember thinking, I've never heard of this film. Tom Hanks, Steve Zahn. I think maybe Liv Tyler's in it as well. Just these,
what year was this?
This is like, what year did I see it?
Yeah. Did you see it?
I saw it in 2013. This came out in 96.
Yeah.
And it's quite, it's sweet and it's fun. And I think Also, funny, we were talking about Elvis recently. That thing you do is kind of the first Tom Hanks villainy.
Yeah.
Because he plays, again, a manager, slightly threatening.
On the verge of like a Jersey Boys, like watch the rise through fame, like through the different eras of...
The Oneaters.
Yeah.
No, the Oneaters. The Wonders. No, the Wonders. Do you remember he's trying to explain the name?
I don't remember. I saw it as a kid.
They're called the Wonders, but it's written with one. Does. And some guy's like, welcome to the Oneaters. Anyway. Yes, I'd like to check that out, actually.
Yeah, I don't hear bad things about it that it hasn't aged, so I bet it's still good. This one is from McLovin, but it was a YouTube comment of a guy called McLovin, but he had a picture of Andrew Garfield, so...
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is that a crossover that we're going to get?
Don't know. Recently found your channel/podcast, and I am loving it. You guys have great chemistry together, and I'm enjoying binging all your previous episodes.
That's funny, because I actually hate James so much.
I need a week off. Would love an episode on the best years for film.
Oh,
this is quite an interesting one because I bet like people will go, "What was the best year?" Or what? Like, could you go in history now that year? Whoa, look at all the films that came out.
I want to do that.
We should do that. Well, did we review? No, we did the Oscars review. We reviewed 2013 Oscars.
No, the 2012 Oscars.
2012 Oscars.
So that was all the best films from the previous year. Yeah, we
from 10 years ago.
But I agree. There are definitely some years where you could make a suggestion. Pick maybe like 5 films from the year you want to champion.
Yes.
Like, I think this was a great year.
Because there are also great films that weren't Oscar nominated that are like very much a product of that year. Yeah. Like you could talk about like Avengers being a big product.
Great question. Did they suggest one?
No. Great
okay.
question, McLovin.
If that is your real name.
It was like, I remember at Glastonbury, like, you know, everyone brings flags. There were like 3 flags where someone just bought the McLovin ID from Superbad. Oh. And I'm like, it is 2022. That film came out
15 years ago.
So 2007.
Yeah.
Is that, who is at home being like, oh, guys, I know it would be really funny.
Yeah.
I bring a flag of the McLovin ID.
Yeah.
And everyone goes, oh, yeah, hilarious. I love that film. Like, sure, in 2009, that's hilarious. But why is it so funny to have McLovin's ID? Is it that iconic? Anyway. This one is from Sam. What's up, guys? Emailing from Weymouth, Dorset, UK. Love the podcast. Nice. Love the Theroux impression. Please do more.
Right.
Right. Is that...
I haven't done it in a while now. You clear the Right, so you went to Glastonbury?
Right. Does your wife know? Fun fact for people who watched the show. That impression we uploaded of mainly George doing a Louis Theroux impression was the first video on our TikTok that got more than like 200 views.
Yes.
I think it's got a few 100,000 views now, but I posted it late at night, literally right before I went to bed. And then the next morning I woke up and it had like 13,000 views. And I was so excited.
Yeah, we couldn't believe it.
We couldn't believe it. And then of course, I think it got 100,000 views by the end of the day, which for us was crazy because no one listened to the show. No one watched the show. And from that, our TikTok basically blew up. Well, it sort of blew up.
Well,
blew up for us.
Has
progressed. And then from that, we
us.
started to get like tens of thousands of views, hundreds of thousands of views of video. But it was that impression.
Yeah, the icebreaker.
All of a sudden, like thousands of comments, thousands of likes. So that kind of was the start of it all.
I will find a right time to bring back Louis Theroux when the time is right.
Yeah.
When the time is right.
We'll watch his next special and we'll just rinse it for content. So my question/topic is, in a world of bleeding dry content from stagnant franchises, we are more and more often seeing the merging of cinematic universes. What cinematic universes would you be interested in merging? Cool. For example, Bourne cross Bond. Plot could be Bond hunting down Bourne, who is still on the run, using Felix from the CIA as a link between franchises. Also, Sin City and The Boys, or Dread, Also, Sin City and The Boys, or Dread and Alien vs. Predator, or Alien/Predator, as is suggested by... I'd be interested to see your take on this. Cheers, Sam.
Well, off the top of my head, I don't even know, but all it does remind me of, the one crossover that didn't happen that I personally would have been up for, after the Sony hack in 2014. Remember when they had the cyber attack and all the emails got leaked? Do you remember that?
Yes.
Because the interview, North Korea.
Yes, I remember. Yeah.
Right, and loads of emails got leaked. There was a chain that got released that they had been considering making the third Jump Street film, a crossover Men in Black, right?
Yes.
And when I heard that, I thought that sounds great because. You've got Men in Black, by that point, a dormant franchise. Hadn't been touched in, 10 years.
And the last one wasn't good either.
Last 2 weren't good. There's only one good Men in Black film, and it's the first one, right? The Jump Street films were great. Both of them I really enjoyed. But that was the end of the road. They had nowhere to go with it.
I feel like there was a third film that should have come
Exactly,
for that.
it should have come from those. And this idea of bringing them into mixing with Men in Black, I just thought was really funny because Men in Black is funny, and
you want to see Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum walk in and like react to everything. It's such an easy format for comedy.
They got like cold feet, and I think they were progressing it for a time, and they got cold feet, and then they eventually dropped it. And as a result, we never got a third Jump Street film, and what we got was this just tired, risible, by the numbers Men in Black film in 2019, Men in Black International. Do you remember? Which was clearly just made so they could hold on to the IP, right? And I'm just like, why couldn't you have just been bold and gone for this crossover? Where would the harm have been? I guess they were saying, it would have undermined the integrity of Men in Black if you're kind of taking the piss out of it by putting Jump Street in. But I think that would have been really funny. I would have liked that.
Either way, if that can't happen, I'd love another Jump Street, even though Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill are even older.
How could you
that was always the joke that they were
They could be like mature students now.
Doing a master's.
I thought, there's some good jokes. And the one that's always stayed with me where like Jonah Hill's like...
The spoken word poetry.
Cynthia. No, he's like... you said we could do what we want with this one because there's loads of meta jokes. You said we could do what we want with this one. You said we had Kate Blanchett. What? You said we had Kate Blanchett. I said you had carte blanche.
I like how much they reference the generational differences between what high school movies were like in Channing Tatum's era, and then like now when doesn't he like use a homophobic slur and everyone all of a sudden is like, hey dude, that's not cool.
Yeah.
You're okay, he's gay, and we're all really supportive of that. Also, like how like just the opinions have completely changed.
Also, like the 21 Jump Street, the first one came out 10 years ago, so those films are actually now like
that's fuck.
Anyway, did you have a crossover?
No, I said, unfortunately, all the ones you mentioned, I kind of don't want. I feel like I don't really want.
Oh, wait. I'll give you one.
Yeah, go on.
No, sorry, I'll let you finish.
That's it. I feel like we got too many crossover Avengers mishmash. I kind of want it to rest. I don't want Bond to be moving into Bourne, but yeah.
It's a film set in the Death Star. Star Wars film set in the Death Star, right? Okay. It's just all in the Death Star, no other ships.
Parks and
it's about it's not about Jedis or anything, Siths or anything like, just about like the Stormtroopers,
the engineers,
the Stormtroopers and the workers and the the top brass, and the alien, the Xenomorph, breaks out in the Death Star. Lots of flickering lights, lots of just I want to do Alien in the Death Star, or maybe Aliens, but it's with Star Wars Stormtroopers, and they're like stuck on the Death Star.
Do you then just call Vader and be like, Vader, you're the only one who takes care of this?
Phones are out. Phones are out in the entire...
He's on Mustafar having an oil bath.
Yeah. No, that's the oil bath, isn't that? That's the Duke.
Or something.
That's the Duke.
We know he like bathes in his thing.
I don't know, maybe that sounds stupid, but they'll probably do it.
But that's just Alien with Stormtroopers.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
I want
Is that so hard?
I want the Undercover Boss SNL mockumentary.
Oh, it's be a full thing. Yeah.
I heard Kylo Ren has an 8-pack. I'm pretty sure Adam is Kylo Ren.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's it.
And that's it. That's all the correspondence we have for this week. Thank you for writing in. If you wanted to ask us a question, you can do by emailing hello@popkitchenpodcast.com.
Thank you. So, film festivals, James. I don't think a lot of our listeners, as film fans, would necessarily know the complete inner workings of a film festival.
Neither did I.
Film festivals are part of the film industry calendar all the way through the year, right? You've got Cannes, Venice, Toronto, and big things come out of them. And, all these films were shown at this festival.
You see them leafed on trailers.
Yes, exactly, whatever that means.
Yeah.
And that film is now in the Oscar race. So we're aware of film festivals exhibiting films. But I don't think a lot of our listeners or a lot of just general film viewers out there necessarily know the wider film industry business that is actually happening underneath film festivals at the same time. They're basically markets. You have acquisitions, deals, and distribution rights happening. I was really interested, before we filmed this, to learn about what happens at a film festival. So James and I have just sat down with Lucy Heath, who is an actor and a writer who has produced several short films, one of which has just been featured in the Tribeca Film Festival. Pragma, yeah, thank you very much. As I'll mention in the interview, Tribeca is a very prestigious American film festival that was set up by Robert De Niro and 2 other people. And it was really, we wanted to talk to Lucy to get that idea of what is it like from her perspective as a filmmaker on the ground. So we sat down with Lucy, we've had a chat. I think you guys are going to find it interesting. It's a really new window into, we from
wanted
our
to
perspective.
Do an interview is something that I feel like would give a different insight to what you and I could offer, because we don't work in the film industry, right? And I think this actually will really serve value for the people the people who are listening, who love film, love TV, and want to know more about like the actual ins and outs of a festival and what goes on.
Exactly. So here is our first ever guest on Pulp Kitchen, Lucy Heath.
Hope you enjoy it.
Welcome to Pulp Kitchen.
Thank you.
First guest.
You are our first guest.
Thank you. I feel incredibly honoured. And that sounded sarcastic, but I meant it.
How are you?
Oh, God, so deep. You got very serious.
How are you?
And I feel like I have to be incredibly vulnerable.
You can be fine.
Oh, I'm okay then.
Yeah, okay.
All right, just to say fine.
Are you okay?
How do you
Yeah,
two
I'm
know
good.
each other?
Oh, yeah. So...
We
well,
don't.
Hi, I'm
Now on
George.
the
Nice to meet
street.
you. Lucy, do you want to answer that?
I do. We went to school together.
We did.
And what was George like at school?
I would say you're exactly the same.
I would think you're exactly the same,
Yeah,
just like
which
less
is a
formed.
very good thing.
Okay, yeah.
I would say
Good.
you are just the same.
I haven't, time hasn't taken its toll on me.
Whereas I
Just
had like
physically.
grills and a chain.
Yeah, you're actually
Skater
just
boy
completely
hoodie. Yeah.
So, Lucy, why are you here? We know why you're here. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
All right, thank
You're
you.
here. You're here
do you
because you're an actor and a writer, which
I
is
am.
really cool. You're actually someone who's involved in films. We just talk about them.
You
but
do.
you actually do
Basically,
them.
we get incredibly nervous and annoyed by people like you
Well,
because we spend ages trying to make something, and then you guys come along and go,
Oh,
shit.
see that thing that Tim Williams
Yeah.
made?
Keyboard warrior, just trash it.
And we're like, oh, so sorry. Yeah.
So we wanted to speak to you because you have recently returned from the prestigious Tribeca Film Festival, which is pretty
have.
cool. I mean, I think
Thank
everyone's pretty
Impressed.
impressed with that
Thanks for
Tribeca.
your support, guys.
Did you know Tribeca was started by Robert De Niro in
I didn't.
2002 with two other people?
You've done your research. I love that.
I know. I just have this in the back of my head. It was started in 2002 as a post 9/11 way of regenerating that area of Lower Manhattan, which Tribeca originally means the triangle below Canal Street. And I looked at Tribeca.
Wait, why below? Can I? Of course.
Because it's below. It's
Yeah.
just this, and like Soho
That took
in New
me a
York
hot
is like,
second to work out.
why
It's
is
like
it below Canal
Yeah.
Street? And like Soho means South of Houston Street, I think. And like there's in New York, there's those things.
We
This
could
is
really
now a
spend
geography
the whole
podcast.
podcast doing this. Right?
Anyway, Lucy, sorry, you've been to the Tribeca Film
been,
Festival,
yes.
which is really cool because you took your film Pragma there, right?
did
okay.
take my film
so
Pragma there,
first
yes.
question is, what is Pragma? What is that?
So I guess now it's become a proof of concept short film for our series. But I think the initial intention with it was just to make a short film.
Mm-hmm.
But as I was writing it, and I was working on it with Ellie Hayden, who's our director, and Phil Dunster, who was in it, and our producer, and we sort of all said we really want to make more of this. So now we're treating it as a proof of concept for the series. But it was actually we were there in two capacities. At Tribeca, we were there promoting the short, and then we were also there pitching the series because we were invited to do. I don't know if I'm skipping a question. Should I just
you
go
go
with
ahead.
the flow?
No, I'm not,
I don't care.
there's no schedule, no structure. Just go
Okay.
for it.
Basically, we were asked to take part in something called the Creators Market, which is 40 people from the festival are asked to pitch to industry professionals, and Tribeca invite the industry professionals. We submit our pitch a few weeks in advance, and then they pick who they want to meet, and then you date them essentially over the course of at least that's
Not
what
where
I
I thought
thought.
this was
Yeah.
going.
I've come back with 6 relationships.
Sounds like
And now
your
I have
short
20
film.
boyfriends. Yeah. Basically, we meet them all, pitch ourselves and the show and other work. Over the course of 2 days. So actually, we were there in two capacities. But for us, it ended up being that the short aided the pitching.
Okay. So you've with this proof of concept, that's a term I'm new to, and I think like our listeners will be as well. Like by its name, I assume it's like, hey, this is an idea, a kernel of an idea. Do you want to make that into a film series? What are those the options?
Yeah. Or anything really. I mean, people were there pitching podcasts. You could do any. We got
James, write this down.
Your competition. So we met with a gaming company, to which I was like, why? I have nothing to offer you. And he was like, we could. No, that's what he said. He said, there's no way we could turn Pragma into a game. And I was like, so why are we here?
Right.
I have nothing else. I don't know who you think I am. But yeah, you could pitch. Usually they're there to actually pitch a feature.
Okay.
So Actually, strangely, this time it was a lot of series because that's seemingly where the money is and where the interest is at the minute. But usually you'd make a short film to pitch it to get funding for your feature.
Okay.
So then what you do is you take the short to investors, so exec producers or networks or whoever, or production companies, and then you ask them to give you money to expand it. Right. So I'll just keep talking, shall I? Sorry.
So this is really valuable because, like we were just saying before, film festivals, names like Cannes and Tribeca, we know what they are, but I feel like they're just dropped so often in interviews, press releases, trailers, and I don't actually think most people who, even like us who engage in film, genuinely know what it's like, what that whole process is.
They know that you can like watch films. Though,
yes,
like an exhibited, but you can't just. But the idea that the actual show business underneath it's happening.
Yeah, so we had a whole screening there that we weren't allowed to go to that was only for press. Okay. And so people, which isn't the case at other film festivals at all, but people there are looking essentially to find like the next whoever that's going to... So that's the difference between those kind of festivals and the more mid-level festivals, is that those festivals, industry people are sort of hunting you a bit to find who's going to make the next big feature, who's going to make the next big series. So it's a different... That's why I think they stand out. That's why you'll have heard about them so much, because names will have gone, I had a film there because we subbed it there and then it got picked up by such and such, because that's where all the big like players go.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Just, I think before we go any further as well, like, do you want to explain what the concept of pragma is? Like, what the,
sure.
You know, there's proof of an idea. Yeah. What is the idea?
So the idea is that you go to, there's a cohort of people that are rapidly approaching 30 or just past 30, that mythical like age limit of where we should all have our lives, and especially I think our romantic relationships sorted. And essentially they go to this institute where they're algorithmically matched with an ideal partner, and then they have a 12-week intensive training program with their partner to learn how to be in a healthy relationship. And the premise is it's like the antidote to apps and sort of like shows like The One and stuff that's, we'll find you your soulmate. The premise is there's no such thing as soulmates. You could probably work with about 10% of the demographic that you're attracted to, and we're going to train you how to be with them.
Nice, like a boot camp.
Like
a love boot camp.
Yeah, a love boot camp.
Nice.
That's exactly what it's like.
Is it a 12...
That would have been a lot quicker if I just said that.
You're welcome.
I'll keep
Put that on the poster.
Yeah.
Is it a 12-week program? Because that's also a 12-week series as well. Was that like in mind as
well?
Yeah,
it's funny you say that actually, because I just messaged my director earlier and I was like, I think it needs to be an 8-week program. So we've only got 8 episodes. So I think we need to rethink the structure of the program.
30% more expensive.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, people are just going to miss 4 weeks of the night.
So can you talk about, did you like, you know, what happened at Tribeca? Are you allowed to talk about anything that happened, like business-wise? Or is it all like...
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, do you know what's a funny one? Is that in this industry, you think you're going to have the big meeting and then that's when it all happens. Right, but you have about 20 like big meetings. And after every, I always think, so me and my co-creator, Ellie, we were sort of working ourselves to the bone to get this pitch ready for Tribeca. And then when we got there, essentially it was a lot of like, hey, nice to meet you.
Right,
and we were like, no, we've actually rehearsed. We've got a 15-page document that we're ready to. And actually it's a lot of, especially in America, it's just so chatty and then they want to get to know you. And we sort of got told that, but I don't think we really believed it. We thought we needed like the best product out there, but it felt much more like a getting to know you. So we met with a ton of people. We met with like Lionsgate and Netflix and AMC and really great people. But some of them, because we've already sold our series here and the production company we're with here don't want to do a collab with the US, what we need is networks. So, but they're now all waiting on me to finish the pilot. So essentially it became a bit of a, either getting to know you, can you hang on until I've got you a really great pilot and then I'd like to meet you again, or for those people that couldn't help with the series, it was then, do you have any other ideas? And we got told about a day before they'll probably ask other ideas. So I just had to write up like some other ideas I've been working on and then just verbally pitch them. And we probably got asked by like 5 or 6 different companies to just verbally pitch these other ideas. Wow. So it was amazing.
It's brutal though as well.
It
probably suits you having like a lot of things in your back pocket just in case. You know, you almost don't want to turn up with one thing because you never know if someone's looking at something very specific.
Oh, we just heard something like that. What else have you got?
I got horror. I got
I can juggle.
It's lobsters, but they're Mission Impossible. That's what I've been looking for. Here's $1 million.
I'm sure there are films that have been made out there that have been put together by some as they're like being pushed out the door by going, it's Shakespeare in Love, but it's in space. Say that again. Say that again.
$1 million.
Bring that man back here.
They have to run back to the hotel and write it. Yeah, I'll go get the scripts.
Yeah, running down. Yeah.
Well, that's actually what it was a bit like. I was like, and then I'll write it and I'll get it over to you. and then that's when I was saying earlier about I got home and I realised I had a ton to do. It's because I'd pitched all these ideas I hadn't worked on at all and made it sound like I really knew what I was talking about. Oh, I'm so glad this is going to air. And then I got home and I was like, I have so many ideas I need to write up now because I've promised them all.
Do you find that you're better at writing and more creative if you have like a really hard deadline, or are you better to have the space to just write?
Yeah, it's funny. I would say space, but everyone tells me you write better to a deadline, don't you? Like, I think that's the assumption, but I don't, because then I go for the quick option, and the quick option, like, rather than sitting and thinking for an hour about what it could be, if I'm in a stressed state, then I go, I don't have time to sit for an hour and think about it, so I'll just put that, and then inevitably you redo it like 12 times because you're in a rush. So I think I definitely am better with the space, but I'd say I work a lot quicker, obviously, with a deadline, and I can whack something out if there's a deadline, but it's just never as good as if I sit and think about it. I think you forget as a writer, or I always forget, you have to go and like for walks or take a lunch break or do something to think of the ideas. I think sometimes I get lost in thinking that words on a page equal writing, whereas actually, percolating ideas sat by yourself also equals writing. Yeah. And I think that's easy to neglect.
It's like, I mean, I'm not a writer, but like it's almost like you'll have to trick your brain into not thinking about it when it doesn't want to think about it. So why people have best ideas when they're like in the shower, at the gym, when they're not actively thinking about it. You know, when you're at school and they say the best tip is to read the whole exam paper first, and then go back to the beginning because your brain in the background.
What else is right for that?
I never got told. Why don't you tell me that tip at school, John?
You were just one and done.
Yeah, exactly.
I was actually thinking when you were talking about like, it basically sounds like it's so much to do with chemistry, and when you're actually chatting and like chemistry just when you're meeting someone, it feels like, is it fair to say that you're a performer on the screen, but also like so much of it is performance, engaging with people, like off camera.
You're trying to sell yourself.
Trying to sell yourself while you're on the whole time.
Yeah. Also, because I'm British over there, they're like, "Oh my god, you're crazy." And I'm like, I just said hello. But it felt actually lovely over there because I think someone said to me that they immediately assume we're clever just by our accent. I was like, really? I could say anything now. And so it was a very welcoming place. Like the people there were actually amazing. But yeah, for sure, I think being an actor really helps in those environments, because I think if you don't have that capability to get your idea across, you could have the best idea ever, but really people don't care because actually there's so many people who have amazing ideas.
So literally the conversation we had the other day, because we don't act professionally, but like at school we were always acting, at uni we were acting, and we were always like,
George was very good at it.
George was very good.
I'll have everyone know.
Like, we've always said like some of the most essential skills you have is being able to stand up and communicate an idea to more than one person, and I think so many people are leaving school without that ability. And you almost think it should be the most important thing you do.
But there are like top level CEOs who would like get stage fright. Remember that clip, Michael Bay, when he was on stage?
Yeah, Michael Bay.
I feel sorry for him. Anyway,
call Michael Bay. Yeah,
we all feel sorry for Michael.
Michael Bay. Did you meet any like really cliched types that you were like, oh my god? When I got into the film industry, I'd heard of people like you, and you are here. Like,
yes, yes. I think it's a funny one because if you get into this industry, I don't know. I wouldn't say anyone's super normal.
That's true.
Because this guy, all right. I don't. Yeah, I think what I realise more and more getting deeper into the industry is that it's less and less friendly in a way, or certain things. Maybe that's too harsh, but it's more. I find that creatives are often either self-deprecating or arrogant.
Oh right, okay.
And I think
suits both.
Yeah, and it suits both people that are really down on themselves or people that think they're amazing. And obviously this, the key is to find the middle ground. But I think people, I have friends who are so unbelievably talented and they're so down on themselves. And then you come across people that are, you are nothing to them, and then you just think, oh, what? Like, I think something that I find unnerving, especially for actors that are just primarily actors, is do you have to be that way? Do you have to be ruthless to be successful? Yeah. And I don't think you do, but seemingly that's definitely a way in. And I know lots of successful people that aren't like that at all. Yeah. But there's an air.
It does benefit people who are like believe their own hype so much that so many people start to.
Yeah, exactly. Walking into a room, because also if you're walking into a room with people that you really admire, you know, and you're walking and going, hey, I'm the dog's bollocks, doesn't matter, you're going to be much more impressive and better than if you walk in going like, I admire you so much, I'm so unworthy of being here. So those people will get the job ultimately, because we cast a lot, and when I'm looking to hire actors, I am thinking about who will be confident on set, and that's such a shame, because they might also be like, I wouldn't ever hire anyone I know to be a bit of a bellend. I'm swearing so much. Sorry.
Yeah. You can say whatever the fuck you want.
No, I was so tempted just to.
Too
far, Lucy. Too far.
Our American audience.
I'm sorry. Carry on.
But yeah, so I think, I don't know, it's. Yeah, I have faith that you don't need to be that way, but I can also see the value in. I go to therapy, and my therapist always says to me, inflate your ego when you need to, because I used to really struggle with being in those spaces and not like metaphorically and literally taking the mic and sort of saying like, hey, this is who I am. I'd go in being like, okay, if someone asks me, then I'll answer. Like then if someone shines the light on me, then I'll take up space. Whereas unfortunately you have to demand the light, because everyone else is demanding the light, the mic, whatever metaphor you want to use. So you kind of have to go in with that attitude when you're in those spaces, and then I think no to then obviously not be like that with your friends. But
I think also like that, not only is in the film industry, but also like just in general in wider life as well. Like we work like the three of us kind of in different places, and I come across people, I'm like, okay, you've made like a conscious decision to like be an ass or be nice, and I feel like it's like the tortoise and the hare. It's like the people who've doubled down and go, you know what, I'm going to be an ass. Like, okay,
true.
you'll go far, but only but the people who are nice, the tortoises, they'll get further,
longevity.
just longer.
Yeah,
that was literally
sure.
the entire TV industry. Like, so I came from a TV background, and basically most of the people that move on to different jobs really just want to work with either the people they worked with before who they like and trust and don't have to retrain and reestablish a relationship with, or people who they just like know are good.
Yeah.
And, like my first ever job, like you don't have any skills. Like you start as a runner and you're
Speak for yourself.
You're literally
James, I've been telling you this for years.
yeah. So like you have nothing. You're just going to be making teas. But like the person who hired me for my first TV job was like, you just seem like a nice guy. I wouldn't mind spending 12 hours with in this TV studio, and that's genuinely half of it.
Yeah. Or you go in going, hey, I'm this, this, and this. Yeah. And for some people, they'll love that because then you seem really competent and confident. Yeah.
There's that element when people are applying for jobs, like usually like entry and mid-level positions, where if you go in and you're like, oh my God, yeah, please, I have this experience, please hire me, I'm going to be so good for you, versus the people that are, or maybe people who a few years later on in the career are like, yeah, I'm interested to hear about what the job is, here's what I do, here's what value I provide, versus like, I really want a job too. Or please fund my movie.
Yeah. The art of bullshit. Is that where we're putting it? Like you have to have a degree of it, like a little bit, and then you can dial up and down. I was going to ask, did you have any like fun? Did you like bump into anyone famous? Did you like have a fun time? Did you go to a party? Were you Robert De Niro just being like, oh my, was he like, I love your work, and you're like, Bob,
we hooked up.
I got no time. I'm busy.
We hooked up. It was weird.
We'll see you in the Daily Mail in a few days, and this will blow up.
Thank you for the numbers for breaking it here.
Yes, I mean, Tribeca's quite a starry. Do you know? Like they have.
I mean, I haven't been, but I know. But I know it's big.
Know.
I know it's prestigious.
Yeah, so they have their like features, and then people get saying you have to get invited to the feature after party. That's where the celebs are. And I was like, how? No one's inviting me. But apparently that's where the like wild parties were.
Right.
But we are obviously the short section. To be honest, we did go to one party where Jared Leto just like was standing. It was like a big one of the top agency parties, and so there was like Jared Leto was there and Sarah Bareilles. You all know her.
Sarah Bareilles.
She's a singer.
Sarah Bareilles.
No.
Sarah Bareilles.
Bareilles.
Oh, Bareilles.
Why not?
Not gonna run you.
I'm so sorry, Sarah, if you're listening. Sarah Bareilles.
I thought it was like Beret. I took all the consonants out. I was like Beret.
Sarah Bareilles. Yeah.
But we turned up, and obviously in that environment, you are irrelevant. You think in your head that's really cool to be at this like exclusive party, but then we got there, and obviously everyone was just like talking to themselves, and the drinks were really expensive and you couldn't get served, so we honestly left 10 minutes later.
Oh wow, okay.
Because we were like, well, why are we here?
Oh yeah.
Like in your head you think, oh, they're all going to want to party with me.
Yeah, Jared, why are you talking to me?
Yeah, let's talk about our next film together, Jared.
Then like take a picture with someone else famous and then go.
Well, you can't do any of that.
No.
So it was sort of, I felt like this is really cool. Do you know what I did have, which was funny, is there was like a football thing, and I made friends with this guy who was so nice, and he was like, oh, come to my screening later. And I was like, yeah, 100% win it. And then because of the jet lag, his screening was at 9:45, which was like 3 a.m. or something our time. So I just was like, I actually can't hack it, I'll go to another one. And then on his Instagram the next day, I saw that the lead in his film is Amanda Seyfried. Nice. And she was there with him. And then Steven Spielberg was also there at the screening. Because his daughter had a short in that block, and they were all there. And
he's like, who wants to fund the film? I'll do one film.
Yeah. I'm in a generous mood. You win a car. Lots of cash.
Look under your seat.
Yeah, it's a contract.
So I was honestly like, I hate myself. I couldn't believe it.
Can't say no to any opportunity.
Honestly, and that's what I thought. But because we had we had 14 pitches to do while we were out there, so it was super wary of. It was really not everyone has that. That was just because we were part of the thing, the creators market. But yeah, so we were wary of not being exhausted before those pitches, because ultimately that's the thing that's going to advance our career more than meeting Amanda Seyfried. Although obviously that would have been amazing. But yeah, we actually had a few celebs come to our screening as well, which was really cool. Do you know Kaylee Kuko from Big Bang Theory?
The flight attendant.
I was like, no, actress.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was like, hey, bro. Yeah. And then, do you watch Ozark?
We know of it, yeah.
The latest season, he plays Linda Linney's brother in it. He's amazing. Laura Linney. And she is too.
You're actually an actress. No, Laura Linney's sister's in it as well. Linda and Laura. Great double act. I want to
love alliteration.
I want to know who that is, but
I need to. His name is Ben. His character's name is Ben, and his actual name is Ben. I can't think of his surname, but he's a phenomenal actor. So you should just look him
quickly.
Fans are just like
screaming at us right now.
And have you seen Girls?
Yeah.
Really, I should have remembered these
That's
names.
okay. Who are they playing? Girls? Yeah.
No, it's her name.
Social Mammoth.
Social Mammoth. So she was there, and she came up to us afterwards and was like, "Please, can I be in the series and stuff?" Which was obviously amazing.
Yes.
And I told my agent, she was like, "We'll take that very seriously. Can you contact her?" I was like, I don't know if it was just a comp. It was more like a passing.
Oh, I didn't get her details.
We were saying the other day about how the Safdie brothers had an experience like that for Not Uncut Gems. Good Time.
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson saw their film before Good Time, was like, I love your work. I want to be in whatever project you're doing next, like whatever money works. And they were like, are you serious? Because if you we'll have a script for you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then they did and followed through, and that's how Robert Pattinson's in Good Time.
Well, to be fair, we are going to reach, we are taking it seriously, and we are going to reach out to her, and there is a part that she could play.
But does that mean she'll be playing in the British version you're doing?
Yeah,
here?
but we're trying to sell it to America as well as the UK.
So you put her in it, sells it to an American audience.
Yeah, it does. But also, because we have the Ted Lasso people attached, they love Ted Lasso in America. Yeah. So that's kind of also helping with that.
I was going to ask about that because before you arrived, we watched Pragma and we loved it. It was great.
Loved it. Really good.
Thanks, guys.
Obviously, when the credits are rolling, you've got you and then executive producer. And the executive producer, we've always talked about, is like a strange mythic title. Yeah. It can sometimes mean people are involved or not involved. So obviously you've got loads of people on there, Jason Sudeikis as well, like you're talking about. So like, if you want to tell us, you don't have to, but like, how does an executive producer work, at least in this context?
What I would say in this context is it sounds much like bigger than it is.
Can I guess? Is it?
Oh, go for it.
Because maybe I'm completely wrong. Is it like, Jason Sudeikis hears about this project and he goes, "That sounds great. I want to support it. I have no time to do it. I've no finances to support that particular project. But what I will do, as a named bit of talent, I will throw my name in it. So when you can put that on the poster and you can sell that in to get funding. Is that right?"
He gave us money as well.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah. But yeah, he definitely. So basically, we did a Kickstarter campaign. Do you know all about? Yeah. And essentially, to get an exec producer, you could pay £1,000 for an exec producer credit.
Okay, wow.
And Phil Dunster sent it. He made the Kickstarter campaign. It was really good, and he sent it to all the Ted Lasso team saying, does anyone want to support?
Fantastic.
And then we sent like the script and the pitch and everything as a package. And then actually loads of them, gave us,
cool.
it was amazing.
They must get like 100 of those a month,
yeah,
right, as well.
and we
That's
had
really cool.
no idea he was going to do that.
Wow.
So it wasn't like Phil didn't ask. It was such an act of generosity because obviously with his name attached, it's like completely changed the game for us.
Wow.
And meant that way more people wanted to get involved. It was amazing, and obviously he gave us some money.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't saying it in like a cynical way, just because the way that the industry
Yeah,
works. But
yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
And we should say if people, I mean, there is no way to watch your proof of concept at the moment. Obviously,
No,
I guess, 'cause
not
it is
yet,
like a transactable asset. But Nick Mohammed as well from Ted Lasso is in it as well. And Intelligence. Have you seen Intelligence with Nick Mohammed?
No,
I really
no,
like it.
I like
David
it as well.
Schwimmer.
Yeah, I really like it. He writes it.
Yeah, Nick Mohammed.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love it. It's so quick.
Yeah.
It's got, and David
It's very
Schwimmer,
funny.
so comic ability.
David Schwimmer's properly underrated.
Yeah.
I think he was
is.
rated at the time.
He's rated at the time, but
Yeah.
since
But,
then
yeah.
he's like...
Yeah.
I don't
But
know
he went
what-
into directing, didn't he? Because he directed
Yeah.
Madagascar.
Yes, he did. Did he direct Madagascar?
Yeah. I think the second one.
Did
Or
he?
is that
Oh,
wrong?
okay, let's be
You
honest.
tell
I
me
couldn't
it's
have
wrong.
told you who
Here
the
we go.
director of Madagascar was. That's the
I don't
thing.
think. And he was in it as the giraffe.
I know, but I feel like he directed the second or maybe that
Madagascar.
third one.
Okay, well, let's just see. So Madagascar 1, directed by Tom McGrath and Eric Durnall, followed by
Whatever.
Madagascar Escape 2, Africa, which was, come on, it was
I really
Ted
hope I'm-
directed by Tom McGrath and Eric Durnall. Let's see if it was the third one. Let's see if it was Madagascar.
What about the
3.
Penguins film?
Do you know how many people I've told this fact? And I've never checked it.
Guys, David Schwimmer.
He's so
he
good,
just-
guys.
Okay,
Animation's his vibe.
Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted. What are we saying, guys?
It's not it.
It's Tom McGrath and Eric Durnall again. Take a bow, Tom
Hey,
and
if
Eric.
it ain't broke, don't fix
Oh
it.
my goodness.
What did he direct then?
David Schwimmer directed Run Fat Boy Run, which had Simon Pegg.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, that felt so British.
Yeah, he loves it. He lives because he's got family over here. I think.
You know, James.
Yeah.
No, he's got family over here. I'm sure. That's
Okay.
why. And he also directed, I think, this thing called like the Big Pill with Simon Pegg. I don't know what he's done recently. I'm sure he would have directed some TV as well, but.
He probably
What
wouldn't
the fuck
have
am I talking to
directed-
you guys? Get David in here.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if he wouldn't direct TV, because I feel like,
Wants to break away.
well, no, I feel like TV has become sort of like a writer's medium. And if you're a big
Yes.
director, I don't know.
And like,
No, I
there's
think
a
it's-
lot of serious money being thrown around. Like Ben Stiller doing Severance, like that's his
Yeah.
director
Yeah.
writer thing.
But then also like it's you say that, but then like Zach Braff does a lot of Ted Lasso, right?
Does he?
Let me do that again. Should we do that again? And you just pretend like you know the answer.
Not that you'll remember, you'll go
Okay.
on the podcast and be like, guys, David Schwimmer
I know,
David
I'll
Schwimmer
directed
directed Schindler's List.
I swear
Oh
to God,
my
guys,
God.
don't
Yeah.
Google it. like-
Amazing.
He
Don't
was
Google
one of
it.
them.
No, so Zach Braff does a lot of Ted Lasso directing. I was like, oh, that makes sense because he's come from a massive
Yeah.
successful sitcom and he can apply that. But yeah,
Can I ask you
Yeah.
how you got to where you are now and what you do now as a writer-director? Because like I work in production,
Don't
although
direct, just,
sorry, don't
no,
direct.
it's quite all right.
Like what I do is obviously
Yet.
very different.
Yet?
But yet?
don't direct yet.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm organised enough. Carry on.
Fine. Like, what I do is very different, but like when I
Yeah.
speak, when I was certainly trying to get into production, when I speak to people now, every single person who does a million different things never has the same story for how they got to
into
where
it.
what they're doing.
Yeah.
I find it's really frustrating if you're like, I want to be a writer, I want to
Yeah,
shoot, or I
yeah.
want to direct, and there's no clear degree to do, there's no
Yeah,
clear
path.
post thing to do, it's a lot of like nepotism and who you know,
Yes.
and like this random conversation you had, but like in like without taking, telling a life story, like
Yeah.
how did you get to where you are?
So when I left drama school, I just could not get in any audition rooms. So we'd been told, you're going to get rejection, you're going to get rejection. But I couldn't get any auditions. Like I just would not get in the room. And I think I had about 3 over 2 years, which is insane. And so then I was seeing these short film scripts come through that I could go and do if I wanted to or whatever. And I just was like, do you know what? I've always sort of written for fun. I was doing the Soho Theatre writing course at the time. I was like, let me just try and write myself a short, and then at least I've got showreel footage. So then I made my first film, Better, and then which was directed by Michael J. Ferns, and he's won a BAFTA. And we sort of met through a mutual friend, and he was like, hey, I'll direct it. And I was like, okay, well, now I've got a BAFTA-winning director attached to my
That's it. It's like
short,
a conversation. Yeah.
film. And then basically everyone then sort of wanted to work on that because we had that name attached. And then I thought, great, we made the film. I've got showreel footage. Now I'll obviously be an incredibly successful actor.
Yeah.
That's the way it worked. And then
Buy the house.
Yeah, exactly. Buy the house, I'm sorted. Yeah. And then we made the film, and then essentially it did really well in the festival run. We won the Iris Prize. It's an LGBTQ film, and that's like the biggest LGBTQ prize you can win. And yeah, so we won that. Then because of that, we were then on Apple TV and on Channel 4, like the short film was. And then essentially, still nothing happened in my acting career. Still couldn't get any rooms, at all. And so I was like, well, that went really well. So I'll just keep doing that then, because that, and then it gave me agency and it was fun. And, and so then I wrote Pragma literally just from the same thinking of, I don't want to sit around again. And I've always done voiceovers and that's always fun, but just, So then basically made Pragma, and then Phil obviously was in TED, but at the time when basically Phil and I really wanted to make a short film together, again, just something to do, let's see what happens. And TED wasn't really a thing at the time. And then basically I was like, hey, I've written this, we were like, bouncing ideas around, and I went and wrote this script. And then he was like, oh, should I ask Nick if he wants to do it? And again, Ted Lasso was not big at this point. So it felt much more casual than it was. And then essentially we were like, okay, great. Let's see who else wants to get involved. Obviously then Jason Sudeikis came on board and we were like, right. Okay. And then Nick was on board. And then we had Hannah Waddingham do the read through. And so we recorded that and used that to pitch. And then we had a bunch of other people give us money. And suddenly it kind of snowballed because of these names, obviously. Pure nepotism.
It's all business,
and then essentially I was like, oh, okay, well, let me just, I've never had these doors open to me as an actor. But as a writer, particularly a female writer, people are going, hey, companies that I would only dream of sort of working with as an actor were going, Lucy, we'd love to meet you. We've heard you're doing this. And suddenly every door was open. And then I made my other short film with my boyfriend, Tyler Conti. We wrote it together, The Painter and the Poet. That's nearly about to be out. And basically while we were then focusing on that, everything sort of was snowballing with Pragma. And then it got picked up as the series. And so then that became kind of my full-time job was making that, and then now I'm writing a bunch of ideas because I have these contacts all of a sudden.
It's an amazing answer, and that's exactly why I asked, because it's just only how you got into it, and it's one of the most frustrating things, but also there you go. It's based on a conversation, or so many things just happen to mesh together at once.
Yeah, it was such. It felt like 3 years of going how does everyone do this industry? And then one thing happened. Maybe not one thing actually. Bird's eye view it, but actually, it suddenly just felt like. I don't know. It felt amazing. Loads of people were just excited, and I met so many very brilliant, hardworking people that wanted to do it.
It's also quite common for actors who've not found it easy to go through that whole audition process, who just go, right, no one is writing parts for me, whether it's from how they look or their background or anything. They just go, I'll just write the parts about my life, or I'll write something that I really want to do. And if you're lucky, it's good enough and someone wants to do it. Yeah. And that's how so many people have come through.
Yeah.
What form does it take? Is it a series of where are you?
So there's fair.
What is
you take over lots of different cinemas in Manhattan, and there's features showing, and then there's shorts blocks. So I think there's 6 or 7 short blocks, and so there's 6 or 7 short films within each block. And
is it quite fun because everyone from the industry is there, and I guess you're taking over that side of town, and everyone's seeing each other's stuff.
Yeah, and there's so much social stuff. There's there's networking things every day. So that was the only issue, is that then you sort of had to choose the networking over seeing stuff, because it was all on it, because there was so much going on, which was amazing. But it felt like maybe we should prioritize getting to know people, because they can always send us a link. Privately. So that's what we did. We'd go and meet a lot of people and then say, hey, we're not going to have time to see your film. Can you send us a link? And then we'll watch that link and stuff.
Yeah. I saw you put something on your story where you were like, I'm in Robert De Niro's office, but I don't think he's ever been here.
Oh,
Wait,
yeah.
What was that?
To be fair, that was us pitching. We did pitch to his production company. Yeah.
Oh, right. Which is called
Tribeca Productions.
That makes sense.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Imaginative, Bob.
Yeah.
You've got the domain name.
Yeah. He was there, to be fair. On the awards ceremony, he was handing out this award. Obviously, we did not win, but he was there.
You wouldn't be here if you had.
You'd be old news to me, guys. But it was quite cool to see him.
over there.
In the flesh.
Wow, Big Bob, how's he doing? Is he all right?
Yeah, we got on well.
Bob Nero.
He is Bob though in the industry.
He is Bob. They all call him Bob.
Yeah.
We went to this lunch and a woman read out this thing saying, "Oh, Bob's sorry he couldn't come," and we were like, "That is so gutting. Like, who are you?
Yeah.
Don't just come in place of Bob. Obviously, we'd rather Bob."
I'd love it if you came in here being like, me and Bob De Niro. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
Robert
Robert.
De Niro. We all call him Bob now.
Us in the biz.
Us in the biz.
So Lucy, another thing I wanted to ask. Now you are our first guest on Pulp Kitchen. Over the course of the previous, however many episodes, we've been sort of asking ourselves questions like, what are underrated actors? What are underrated movies? What are great movie openings, great movie endings? We've asked a lot of questions.
People write in with their ones. It's very sweet,
And I was interested to know what your thoughts are on some of them. So could I ask you, no pressure right now. Boom, boom,
I'm sorry,
boom, boom.
yeah, I'm feeling pressure.
Do you have like a favourite scene in a film? We did one where it's like films that have that one great scene.
Yes, and I refer to it just actually all the time, which is really boring actually. It's been on a ton of other podcasts.
We talk about like the same 7 films.
Did David Schwimmer direct this one?
Yes, he did.
In
And
Madagascar,
Bob made it with Harvey.
In Madagascar 2, when the
When
penguins...
David took over,
And the
never living
camera
that
just...
down. Yeah. Good. It's in Greta Gerwig's Little Women.
Great.
And Saoirse Ronan she gives that speech about being a woman and wanting to be independent but still not wanting to be alone. And what does it mean to be independent? And honestly, I just think it's like obviously a period piece, but it epitomizes like femininity for me. And I think it's that idea of you can have it all, but the reality is you can't, and you want to follow your career, and maybe you want a family, and maybe you want all those things at once. And I just think she delivers the speech so incredibly beautifully, and I just cry every time I watch it. And I think, like, wow, that paragraph could not relate to how I feel more about my fears of womanhood, of wanting to succeed in my career, but not wanting to be 50 and not have a family.
Wow, that's brilliant. I love Little Women a lot.
Oh,
and
it's
I know
my
that
favourite
scene.
film,
She says
yeah.
something like, I want to paddle my own canoe. And then she says, like, as she's like breaking, she says, like, but I'm so lonely.
Yeah, she goes, and she goes, and women have hearts, and they have minds, and they have blah, blah, blah. And she like, lists all the things that women have, and it's so like obviously for that era, so revolutionary to be like, we have all these assets to us, and we're so multifaceted, and that's so overlooked, particularly in film. And I think it just that whole, I was like, wow. I think so much of my childhood was feeling frustrated about being a woman and not understanding where my frustration necessarily always came from. And then in that speech, I was like, you have just epitomized my childhood frustration of being a woman, or maybe my like young 20s rather than 6. Like, want to hang out with kids, mum? Yeah.
That is a brilliant answer. I love that film. How many times have you seen that, James?
Once, just the once, but I'm
Get
like
out
desperate
there.
to
I think it's now a Christmas
Yeah,
classic.
same.
It's got that really kind of like rose tint.
cozy living room stuff.
Oh, love that. And
it's
Beth
beautiful.
and- love it.
So well acted.
Brilliant. I mean, also
Even Emma Watson, guys.
I know.
Hey, yeah, she's
She
really
really upped it.
A lot of people pull out the Florence Pugh speech as well when she's in the gallery
Yeah.
and she's like, I want to.
Florence Pugh is just phenomenal.
I mean,
I think without her, that part wouldn't have been as enticing.
That's a really good point.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
think
agree.
she makes that part she makes that part so multifaceted and layered and exciting to watch again as a woman. I'm sure for there's an audience for men as well, but just that idea of being, well, I'm going to play the game then. The modern version of that is whether you get freaking Botox or whether you do, that's the modern equivalent of like, okay, I know that I'll probably have greater value in society the better looking I am. And especially as an actor, I think so many of my friends, this is so tangential, but do you get Botox just to get those younger parts because they're more lucrative, there's more on offer for you if you can stay looking young. And her character has that, but obviously set in whenever it's I can't remember.
1860s. It's during the Civil War, right?
Sure.
That's we're English. We don't know when the American Civil War was.
Yeah,
we know
exactly.
it happened.
I just think like Timothy Chalamet puffy shirt. That's my reference
Yeah,
to like period piece.
Yeah.
Like, old.
Are you excited to see Barbie? That's Greta Gerwig's next film.
Yes. Yeah.
You seen the Ryan Gosling image with the peroxide blonde
Yeah,
hair?
yeah. I actually have a friend who's one of the Barbies in it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so she's given me all the goss.
Oh, wow.
She said that Greta Gerwig is so nice.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. So nice. Greta Gerwig is my dream.
She's
to work
fantastic.
with.
I love-
Lady Bird is just one. I just think. Have you ever heard her speak on a podcast or something?
Yeah.
She used this word cubist once. She was like, "It's incredibly cubist," and she was like, talking about Little Women. I literally wrote it down. Like, use that.
Yeah,
word.
yeah.
Like, cubist.
The next thing you write is has it lifted around.
Cubist.
Fantastic. Okay, as normal, let's finish with the game. But I'm very happy that our guest can actually join us this week for this. So, Lucy,
Me too, guys.
we're going to play a game called Castlist Countdown.
Okay.
So I'm going to read out members of a film cast to you in a random order. They might be big in the film, they might be small in the film. And you have to try and guess what the film is before I run out of the cast list.
I've seen you guys
Don't
do
worry, I'm
this.
rubbish. It's fine.
Okay, good.
Okay. Let's see what we got. Okay, I got a couple. One I've just put in there completely just to screw you.
Great.
Okay.
Oh, thank you for being so welcoming.
And then it's really confusing because the first actor that's usually mentioned is like
A really small part.
ninth billing,
Yeah,
and then you just
yeah.
fixated
Well, of course.
On that actor.
So I'm going to go with this film. So, ready?
Yeah.
Guess the film based on the actor
I'm so nervous.
in three. Sorry. Guess the film based on the cast in 3, 2, 1. Bill Camp.
Oh, fuck you.
I don't even know who that is.
Lindsay Duncan. Andrea Riseborough.
Oh, God, she came up the other day.
Naomi Watts.
Impossible.
Amy Ryan. Who's how dare you? She's very good.
What's her name?
A lot of things.
I don't know,
Zach
I'm struggling with
Galifianakis.
most of-
and
and Naomi Watts. Oh, the Birdman.
Yes.
Hey!
The
The Birdman, sorry.
The Batman of Alcatraz.
The Birdman.
Angela Riseborough.
She is like his
Yeah,
mistress.
yeah,
Like,
she's brilliant. She's British.
You-
isn't
yeah,
I
she's
don't know?
British.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
that's
British.
right. I did an event once where I had to take her parents up to the green room, and they were lovely.
Oh, that's
They were really
good.
nice.
That's
yeah.
a fun.
Anecdote. Yeah, they were really nice.
Yeah.
I was also going to say after that, Edward Norton, Emma Stone, and then Michael Keaton. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Number 2. Guess the cast. No. Guess the movie based on its cast. Okay. In 3, 2, 1. Idris Elba.
The Dark Tower.
Charlize Theron.
Jungle Book.
Rafe Spall. Sean Harris.
Thinking about Molly's
Mission
Game.
Impossible?
Logan Marshall Green.
Mad Max.
Numi Rapace.
That girl with the dragon tattoo? Girl with the
No.
face tattoo?
2 more. Guy Pearce.
Oh, Prometheus.
Yeah. Well done. Yeah.
I would not have known.
Prometheus.
When George gets them, his eyes like
That's
twitch.
that's 1-1 at the moment for you guys.
That is
Okay.
fun.
By the way, George isn't crazy. He says the start how to play the game at the beginning of each one for TikTok.
Yes.
So we can break
So
it
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
He knows
Hi
this.
Lucy, I'm George. This is how you play
He's
the
like,
game.
okay, so what you have to do... No.
Yeah, I get it, George. I'm not
Stop
stupid.
patronising me.
Okay. Okay. I don't know if you've seen this one. This is
All right.
throwback. I haven't seen it. Catherine Zeta. Oh no. Wait.
You right?
Okay.
Chicago.
Guess the movie
Yeah.
by its cast. Guess the movie by its cast in 3, 2, 1. Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Zorro.
Zorro. That's a throwback.
Ocean's 12.
Alec Baldwin. I like that guess though. Alec
you.
Baldwin.
Notting Hill.
He is in Notting Hill. Very good.
Oh, you're welcome.
Mary J. Blige.
Goodness.
What?
This is a rogue mix-up.
Bryan Cranston.
What? Oh, I'm not. It's going to be an old film.
Paul Giamatti.
Oh, not
Eli
Godzilla.
Roth. Eli Roth. Malin Ackerman. And finally, Tom Cruise. Do either of you
what?
have that?
Is it an
I'm going to
action
do, because you were
film?
so perplexed, I'm going to
Say
run
it
through it again. Catherine Zeta-Jones, Alec Baldwin, Mary J. Blige, Bryan Cranston, Paul Giamatti, Eli
J.
Roth,
Blige.
Malin Ackerman,
Is it a film
Tom
with
Cruise.
cars in?
That's not the game, I'm afraid. It's not the Guess the Movie.
Let's play a new
guys,
game.
you lost. It is Rock of Ages from 2012.
Oh,
no.
Oh, Russell Brand.
Yeah,
is what I was
Russell.
gonna
Oh,
say.
if you'd
yeah.
said Tom Cruise, Russell Brand, I would have got it. I would
I
have
thought Meryl
100%
Streep was
got
in
it.
Rock of Ages, but I'm now thinking of something else, aren't I?
Yeah, I think
she
you
was in
are.
another rock
That's a
That's
weird.
Nicky in the Flash.
Is that in Tom Cruise's comedy career when he did Tropic Thunder around about the same
and then he was
time?
like, "I fuck this, I'm gonna climb the building."
Yeah.
Tom Cruise was in Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, he's
doing
Les
heavy
Grossman
prosthetic.
in the suit, you know.
The producer with the massive
Literally
forearms.
step back and
He's bald with glasses. Yeah.
That's his only like comedy. Like.
Yeah.
I've only just registered.
Welcome to
And
the
I
world of
watch that
film.
film
It's
every
great.
day.
This film, I would doubt you guys have seen it or even heard of it, but the cast list is pretty stacked. So I'm going to read it out, okay? Guess this random
This'll be
movie.
fun.
It's a completely random movie. Guess this random movie. Are you going to talk over me, or should I can I do a clean intro for TikTok?
We're playing our own game now, George. You're not the master of us.
Guess this really random movie based on its amazing cast list. Okay? In 3, 2, 1. Amanda Seyfried.
Hello, my
Jennifer's
best
Body.
friend.
Go, Mamma Mia.
Topher Grace.
Win a Date with Tad Hamilton.
I like the way you think, James, but no. Katherine Heigl.
27 Dresses.
No, but I like the way you think.
Is
Diane Keaton.
it is like a rom-com.
The Ugly
an
Truth?
old-school
Yeah. Ben Barnes. Susan Sarandon.
The Stepmother.
No. Robin Williams.
Oh.
It's a good cast. Okay, and last of all,
Williams.
It's like a Love Actually vibe, isn't it?
It
yeah,
is.
like as in lots of
Valentine's
different-
Day.
and the last one is Robert De Niro. It's not Valentine's Day.
Oh, no, not the one with...
New
I
Year's
think the one with...
Day. No, it's like a
It's the one with Anne Hathaway, The Intern?
Nope. It came out in 2013.
it's like a ton of vignettes.
But it's not about a day. Oh, it is about a day, but it's not about like one of those day films.
But it's like yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna run through them one more time. Then I'm gonna have to tell you. Amanda Seyfried, Topher Grace, Katherine Heigl, Diane Keaton, Ben Barnes, Susan Sarandon, Robin Williams, Robert De Niro.
I just keep imagining Katherine Heigl like in an office.
Yeah, this isn't an office set.
Is it like one of Robin Williams' last roles? Did he die?
Yeah,
before?
I would say it's about a year, 2 years before he died.
Yeah,
everyone
the film's on the tip of my
cover's
tongue,
like,
but-
"Ah." Okay, it's a film I've not seen. I don't think anyone talks about, called The Big Wedding.
No, it would
Oh,
never.
I think
Exactly.
I have seen it.
Any good?
Because I did.
Did you have food poisoning for that one as well?
Yeah, all sorts of like trashy rom-coms I've seen at some point and then don't really remember them because I have them on when I pack or like when I specifically packing. But when I'm doing any sort of like cleaning, I put any like rom-com on all the time.
That's a good cast.
That's
great
a
cast.
very good cast.
All right, last one.
Yeah.
Okay. Guess the movie based on its cast in 3, 2, 1. Bryan Cranston.
Godzilla.
Gwyneth Paltrow. Elliot Gould. John Hawkes, great actor. Lawrence Fishburne.
This is painfully embarrassing.
He's in Godzilla too.
Marion Cotillard.
Oh my god, what a cast. Batman.
Matt Damon.
Damon.
Kate Winslet.
What is this cast?
And the last one, Jude Law.
Oh, Contagion.
Holiday. Yes!
Well done.
The Holiday.
Has been
I love it when Elliot Gould and Lawrence Fishburne turn up in the holiday.
Contagion since March 2020 has been in the top 10
Yeah,
of
I
the iTunes
saw
films
that.
list
Yeah.
for
You know,
2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Didn't see it. I haven't seen it.
I've not seen it either.
I lived it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's more like a
You lived it.
documentary to me now.
It's not amazing. It's very like dry and realistic. It doesn't
Yeah.
like try to turn anything up to 11. It's
The
kind of like,
grading is super. Like,
yes, it's very like
green,
sickly and
yeah.
green. I don't say run out and see it because we've
No.
all just just
I
lived
remember
it.
seeing the trailer.
This is the thing with like Soderbergh stuff though, especially at that point just before he retired. Where it
Yeah.
was like loads of, we're going to get loads, massive cast list and you're going to bring them all in and it's like, huh. And then we go away again and
That I guess that was more of a time where like way fewer films were, I guess it's not even that long ago, but fewer films were being made. So more celebs would turn up, like A-list cast would turn up in the same film.
Well,
almost.
Do 2 weeks of filming and that's
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Whereas now it feels
Easy
like
to
that's
get an
reserved for
ensemble
Marvel.
cast. Yeah.
Like Marvel feels like that's big celeb or like TV they're even going to now.
come in for 1 week here, 1 week there.
Yeah.
Do your little bits. Like
I'll
6 mini movies in one.
I always wondered how they do like those Valentine's Day films.
Yeah.
Like Bradley Cooper.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
like, literally everyone's in it.
But
It must just
the
be a
appeal
mess.
will be a massive fee for a week's filming.
I heard that they all get a % of the film.
Oh wow!
And that's why they do it. So they do it for very
wow.
cheap money, but they own stake in the movie.
Just want to tell people
all of them negotiated the same
I
contract?
don't know for sure. I've heard that's how these things work. Unless you
with
know
all the
different.
information that's been thrown out this podcast, I just want to say, please verify this
Please Google
independently.
everything I've said.
Yeah, and David Schwimmer actually
Directs all of them.
Yeah, he's the bank account that funnels.
Okay. Well, look, that's the end of the game. So, Lucy, thank you for playing. Thank you for being
I'm sorry, I was so bad.
This has been a wonderful time to have you here. And that's it for this week, right?
Thank you so much.
That's
We're
it.
doing our outro
Let's
now. Let's do our outro now.
Okay.
Do I look somewhere?
No, you could just be there.
You look so rehearsed.
You can say goodbye if you
All of
want.
a sudden we're like, okay.
James, what is it, James?
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Pulp Kitchen. Don't forget we post new episodes of the show every single Wednesday.
We also have loads of stuff on Instagram and TikTok all the time. Just loads of stuff on the channel coming out, not just the main episode.
Lucy, where can people find your stuff? Are you on socials?
Yes.
Yeah?
What is my... I don't know.
Silver Rose, you can find Silver Rose Productions
Silver
on
Rose
Instagram.
Productions is my production company. Lucy Heath 1, I think, is my Instagram. And yeah, we post everything on Silver Rose Productions. And I have a website for Silver Rose Productions.
And can people watch Better still on Channel 4?
Better now is on the website. You can watch. I did it a year on Channel 4, but it's over. Just had to drop that in there.
And keep an eye out for Pragma.
And keep an eye out for Pragma and The Painter and the Poet, which is about to come out as well.
Can people see that somewhere?
No.
But keep an eye out for it, okay? It'll find that painter.
Follow the socials and all will be explained.
All right.
See you
next week. Cheers.